come home on a Saturday night and I put way too much makeup on to wipe it off and call it a night and watch Netflix and chill by myself. So we're gonna do 50 questions. Okay, so I found a 50 questions tag on the internet with some actually really good questions. So let's get started. Were you named after anyone? My full name is actually Frances Florence Tomei. If I remember correctly, I remember my mom telling me that I wasn't named after anybody. I feel like she told me that she just really liked the name Frances. Probably like either yesterday or the day before, my dad actually had sent me a picture of a really old family photo, probably from like the really early 1900s. And he said, this is Grandma Tomei's mom and dad, Grandma Frances and Grandpa Joe. Yes, that's Frances, ... with a smiley face. So I guess I am named after somebody. This is actually the picture that my dad sent me. So I don't know which one is Frances, but apparently Frances is in there, which is like so cool and interesting. I had no idea. When was the last time you cried? Unfortunately, the last time I cried was fairly recent. It was a couple days ago. I was in New York and I was eating lunch with my mom. My mother agent sent my book out to a bunch of agencies in New York. I was driving to all these meetings, one after another, and sometimes I would have some time to like grab a quick bite to eat. And I remember on the last day, I was just exhausted, dude. Like, I was just so exhausted. It was really stressful, and actually made a video right before I made the trip out there to New York, but it was, for lack of a better word, it was very stressful. I'm gonna make a video about my whole experience going out to New York and meeting with all of the modeling agencies, talking about my experience. It definitely gave me a lot of perspective on things, certain things, and it was definitely an eye-opening experience for sure. I literally just got back from New York yesterday, so I'm so happy to be back in LA. But yeah, the last time I cried, I had met with 2 agencies in the morning, and then I had like a small window to eat lunch with my mom. And I was just sitting at the restaurant and I was just feeling so overwhelmed. I just kind of like was trying to express that to my mom, and I just like, I don't know, for some reason I just started fucking crying in this restaurant. Like, I don't know why. I think I was just like really, like, there's just a lot of things like going through my head, and I just wanted everything to work out, and there was just like so much going on. And you know, I want to, obviously, like, I'm doing this for me, and this is like a goal that, you know, I've had for years, but I also wanted to make my family proud and make, you know, my friends proud and people that I love proud. And I just wanted to make sure that it all went well. I just felt like a lot of things were kind of out of my control while I was there, and it was just a really frustrating and overwhelming feeling. I think at one point I just got a little bit too overwhelmed, and there's just a lot of things that were going through my head, and yeah, I just like started crying. I don't know why. It was so weird. Do you like your handwriting? You know what's funny? When I was younger, I remember my dad and I used to work on my homework a lot, and obviously because he was helping me so much, I would see his handwriting all the time. And I don't know, for some reason I feel like I adapted his penmanship and his handwriting like 100%. Like, my dad and I's handwriting is identical. It's like the weirdest thing. And every time I write anything, I always think of my dad, because I remember growing up, like, because he helped me so much on my homework, and you know, I used to watch him write things all the time, and just watching him and like how he used to like hold his pencil and the way that he wrote in all capital letters. But I guess the answer to that question is yeah. I mean, I like my handwriting because it reminds me of my dad, and I think that's really cute and special. I just wrote this down so you guys could see it, but this is my handwriting. I always laugh because I always write in capital letters. I can't help it. This is literally how I write everything. What is your favorite lunch meat? That's a really funny question actually, because I don't eat meat, and I haven't for many years, and I will never go back to eating meat. I feel like I don't even see meat as like real food anymore because it's been so long since I've eaten it. Yeah, plant-based gang. Do you have kids? No. If you were another person, would you be friends with you? I definitely would be friends with me if I was another person because I feel like I'm a good friend. I'm a good listener. I have a big heart. I'm literally made of love. I feel like that's such a huge part of me. I definitely would be friends with me if I was another person, for sure. Do you use sarcasm a lot? I feel like I'm not so much of like a sarcastic person, but I feel like I am funny when I'm hyper and I have a lot of sugar coursing through my veins. I feel like I'm funny, but I'm not really like a sarcastic person. I don't know. I feel like I just have like dry dad humor. Do you still have your tonsils? Yes, I do. Would you bungee jump? I would, but I would need to mentally prepare myself for like 10 years before I did that. What is your favorite cereal? This is so funny because growing up, I used to love cereal. Ugh, I love cereal. I feel like I used to eat a lot more cereal when I was younger, but growing up, I really liked honeycombs. If you guys remember that cereal, does that cereal still exist? I could literally eat breakfast every single meal for the rest of my life. I love breakfast. Do you unite your shoes when you take them off? Yes, duh. Do you think you are strong? I feel like physically I'm not strong at all. Like I can barely do one push-up. Like you would never see me do a pull-up, but mentally though, I'm strong as fuck. What is your favorite ice cream? My favorite ice cream would probably have to be either strawberry, birthday cake, or mint chocolate chip, but vegan for sure, vegan. What is the first thing you notice about people? I think the first thing that I notice about people is their teeth, or like if I'm meeting somebody and I'm shaking their hand, I feel like I make a lot of assumptions about people based on how they shake hands with me. What is your favorite color? I feel like my favorite color right now is red, but I really like pink and I really like yellow and purple and green. I feel like I just said the entire rainbow. What is the least favorite thing about yourself? I don't know, I guess physically, like I feel like everybody has a good side and a bad side. I feel like this side is my good side and this side is like my bad side, but I don't know. I feel like I've come to accept it and love it. I guess within like the last year or so, I feel like I've definitely like come to terms with both of my sides and I like them equally. I feel like I've just had to constantly tell myself that like nobody notices like what side of your face is like the good side and the bad side. Like even when I go to like modeling jobs, nobody ever notices. I've never had anybody say anything. I feel like this is something that only I think about, which is great. Who do you miss the most? Definitely my grandma Kitty. My grandma Kitty was my best friend. She died unexpectedly and completely out of the blue, and she, like I said, was my best friend, and I had never dealt with a loss greater than that. I felt like when I lost my grandma Kitty, I felt like I lost a huge part of myself, and you know, she's someone that I think about every single day. And losing her, even though that it was extremely painful and I felt like my life was over and I felt like I had nothing to live for. She was my great grandma, by the way. And when I lost her, when she passed away, I was a junior in high school. And even though I was older, I was still taught at a really young age that life is precious as fuck. Losing her taught me that I need to express, you know, how grateful I am for the people in my life now, and I can't take the people in my life for granted, and I need to show love to everybody in my life and show them how grateful I am for them. I feel like every single time I talked about her, I would just like start bawling my eyes out, because even though she passed away like probably 6 years ago now, it felt like every time I talked about it, it happened yesterday. And that was because I didn't get any closure. And what that taught me was the fact that nobody's around forever. And you never know when somebody could just unexpectedly leave this earth. I feel like I have an easier time showing gratitude for the people in my life now than I ever did before, because my best friend had passed away and I didn't get to say goodbye. So yeah, definitely my great-grandmother Kitty. What is your favorite food? Definitely Thai food or Indian food, because they have the most plant-based options and everything is to die for. What was the last thing you ate? The last thing I ate was a cherry pie Lara bar, which if you guys haven't tried those, you can get them pretty much anywhere. Stick them in the freezer and thank me later. What are you listening to right now? Well, technically I'm not listening to anything right now, but as of lately, the Black Panther album came out, so I've been listening to that. I really like the song King's Dead. J-Rock killed that song. I feel like J-Rock made that song. I've been listening to a lot of Frank Ocean. I never hopped on the Frank Ocean wagon, but recently in the last like couple of weeks, I've just randomly like stumbled across a lot of his music, and oh my gosh, Frank Ocean has changed my life. I love Frank Ocean so much. Like, some of his music can make me cry. Like, that's how special his music is to me. Like, love his music so much. A couple of my favorite songs from Frank Ocean. Number one is Pink and White, 100%. That's like my number one favorite song right now. I really like Self-Control, and I really like the song Nights. If you were a crayon, what color would you be? Wasn't there like a pink flamingo color in the Crayola crayon box? For some reason I remember that. I would be that. Favorite smells. I feel like during the holidays when my parents are making food for my entire family and I can smell it from my room like 2 stories up, that's my favorite smell. It's like, it's just so nostalgic, and it's like the smell of like turkey and mashed potatoes and stuffing. Even though I don't even eat like half of those things anymore, I still love that smell. I feel like that'll never get old. Who was the last person you talked to on the phone? Hi, Greg. Mountain hideaway or beach house? Oh, I feel like that's such a hard question because I love both. I feel like I would love a beach house in like Costa Rica. Favorite sports to watch? I don't even watch sports. Hair color. My hair color is brown. Sometimes I'll go back and forth between like almost black to a super dark brown, and then I'll get highlights. I get really manic about changing my hair. Like, I'll just randomly be like, I need to change it. And I'll change it, I'll have it for like 4 or 5 months, and then I'll change it again. But my hair naturally is brown. Eye color. Currently my eyes are green. This is not my natural color, unfortunately. My eyes are like almost black. Like, they are so dark. Do you wear contacts? Never! Scary movies or happy endings? I feel like every time I watch a scary movie, I have nightmares for 2 weeks, so happy endings. Last movie you watched? The last movie I watched was actually really good. It's called Ingrid Goes West. It's a movie about a stalker, and she befriended this girl on Instagram, and she figured out where she lived, so she moved to Venice, and she pretty much uprooted her entire life and moved out to Venice to meet this girl that she was infatuated with on Instagram. So that was a really good movie. I highly recommend it. Summer or winter? Summer, for sure. Favorite dessert? Ugh. I feel like my favorite dessert is probably any type of tart, or like a cobbler. So like a peach cobbler, an apple cobbler, a pear cobbler, or any sort of pie. So like apple pie, cherry pie, or even like a strawberry rhubarb pie. My dad is like the king of dessert, so I grew up eating all of those all the time. Any tattoos? The only tattoo I will ever get, and I don't think I'm getting this tattoo anytime soon, but I know I do want it at some point in the future, is the date 1927, which was the birth year of my great-grandmother Kitty, who passed away when I was in high school and was my best friend. Favorite sound? I feel like my favorite sound is the sound of rain falling on a rooftop when I'm like about to go to bed. I feel like that's the most calming thing on the planet. Rolling Stones or Beatles? Beatles. I grew up listening to the Beatles. My dad would drop me off to school and we would listen to the Revolver album every single morning. What is the farthest you have ever been away from home? I went to Costa Rica with my dad probably 2 years ago, and that was the most amazing time. It was so beautiful, and I want to go back there soon, but it was a 10-hour plane ride and a 12-hour bus ride to Mount Arenal, where my dad and I were staying. So worth it though. We were staying right underneath a volcano in a tropical rainforest, and we did so many cool things, so I definitely want to go back. I don't know if I'll go back anytime soon because it was so far, but I loved it. It was so amazing. Where were you born? I was born in San Francisco, California. Where are you living now? I live right on Hollywood Boulevard in Los Angeles, California. And the last question, any pets? So this is Pepper. I call her P for short. She's my little baby. She's all up in my shit 24/7, but I love her so much and I'm so grateful for her, and she's my best friend. Do you see her? She's literally sleeping right now, like a child. You say hi? Oh man, so that is it for all the questions. I hope you enjoyed. I hope you learned a little bit more about me. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. As always, subscription is optional, and thanks for hanging out with me. Until next time, I'll see you guys later. Bye.